let Bob hit his record button first, and then we maybe continue.
Jibba jabba, jaggy check, whatever, good enough.
Okay, Ivan, go.
Well, I was going to say that apparently people, I don't know what, but I can't believe how many people bitched and moaned about the past 3 episodes.
You know, I thought they were pretty good, personally.
I think all except for last week was good.
I mean, they certainly weren't great, but, I mean, my God, just the whining and complaining and people registering fake names just to log on and call us jackholes.
It's the internet, dude. That's what the internet does. It complains.
See, the thing is, I think we had worse episodes in the past. However, back then, we would record for an hour and a half, and I'd have an hour and a half to turn, water into wine, basically. Now it's just 40 minutes, and...
Yeah, but did last week really have to turn out the way it did? I mean, we could have cut a whole lot more.
Now that comes to the question right now.
Should we stop recording the show entirely? I say yes.
Well, my question was going to be, should we just record as much as we can before it becomes last week again, and then just end it early?
Well, that's you, man. I don't give a shit.
Hey, no, I am here for you guys.
But we're playing D&D today, so I need to be done by 5.
Which is what, 8 o'clock?
At 5. It's 3:43 now.
We'll be done long before then.
Yeah.
So the question becomes, do we start doing sporadic shows, bi-weekly, tri-weekly?
Tri-yearly? Yes.
Tri-yearly. Or do we just record as much as we can, and then if it ends up being a 10-minute show, whatever?
Well, how do we determine what is as much as we can?
If last week should ever happen again, and,
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. So how do we know when we have enough?
That is a good question.
Stick to the 45 minutes, and whatever we get is whatever we get.
But then we're going to have episodes like last week.
Well, no. Then if last week happens again, I will just get really, really edit happy and rip out.
But then we're back to you spending 10 hours editing a show that you don't want to do.
No. If it's 40 minutes long, it only takes 3 hours to edit that down. And then at the end, I can pretty much I could have trimmed out 20 minutes last week if I wanted to. 15.
But then the show had only been 10 minutes long.
Okay.
That's the thing. Do we have a problem with that?
No, that'll make us happy, you happy for editing, and people will complain about the show being short, but we won't get this massive slew of people saying, if you guys hate the show so much, why do you keep doing the show? Oh my God.
Besides, well, if you hate the show so much, why do you keep listening to it?
Yeah, well, see, then the problem is people complain that all we do is complain about our listeners saying, why do you listen to this shit? We can't win.
No, that's why it's the internet, dude. Who gives a shit? Just put up whatever.
That's what I'm saying. To put a final note on this, lesser of all evils is the worst that will happen is we'll have very short shows. So that's what they'll be complaining about. We won't have to listen to them complain about anything else other than short shows.
And if they don't like it, then they should probably start submitting some shit for us to talk about instead of who's going to win in a fight.
We have some stuff this week. We have we have the contest. We have a couple of stories, which you guys have pointed out. And we have a couple of voicemails. And we have some mail.
Excellent.
So, let us start the show right now officially.
So, what do we do? Are we doing until 7:30?
Hell, we have 5 minutes of it down already. We started 7 minutes ago, didn't we?
I don't know. I have 5 minutes, 25 seconds. 5 minutes and 30 seconds.
35 more minutes to go.
Okay.
7:15, 7:20 is the end time, and we'll just go from here.
5 minutes and 35 seconds.
Very good. Thank you, Bob. I'll do the intro.
5 minutes and 40 seconds.
Again, thank you, Bob. I'll do the intro this week. Here we go.
5 minutes and 45 seconds.
Mute Bob.
I actually did that once on a ride back from Columbus to Cleveland. I just wanted to be a dick, and I can't remember who the hell was in my car. I had a bunch of people in there, and just to be an ass, I started counting the mile markers.
Oh my God.
Because it's like 120 miles. And it's like, it's not that bad of a ride as long as you're just like, chit-chatting and bullshitting the whole time. When you got some asshole driving going, 161, 160.
I don't care how much bigger you are than me or how bad you could kick my ass, I'd have punched you.
Oh, I think I totally deserved it. I'm really surprised no one did. I didn't go the whole way. I think I made it about 15 before everybody was like, oh my God, I'm going to jump out of the car.
Okay, here we go. Welcome to the GamerCast Network video game show for... I don't do the date anymore. Stop that. Thank you.
Right.
One more try. Welcome to the GamerCast Network video game show, episode number 183. I'm Chad, and joining me this week is Phil.
Hello.
Bob.
That's a good one.
And Ivan.
I am here.
So let's start.
Go.
Go. And go.
This week on the GamerCast Network, Pod Toy will probably talk about Heavy Rain and what a courageous, interesting failure it is. Gamertag Radio has an interview with Promethean Marketing about their upcoming iPhone game Tweak Defense. Episode 88 of the Sarcastic Gamer Blue Show features Episode 1 of Sarcastic Gamer Black. Discover the community that brings you all these great podcasts and more at GamerCastNetwork.com.
What is Spellforce? Has anyone heard of Spellforce?
Is that the game I have?
Is that the one that you were mad at because it sucked?
I was mad at because it was too pretty. Everybody was an elf, and everything looked like epic humans and epic elves and shit in Warcraft, and I did not care for it, and that's why I played it for like 10 minutes.
Because I opened up Steam, and it's $3.74.
It's actually a really good game, so if you want to get that, I couldn't... Yeah, I paid, for $20 or whatever I paid for it was a fair price for it, so...
The thing is, I opened it up and looked at the screenshots, and there's one screenshot of the UI. The rest are all... You know what I mean? I don't know if that's how the game is. There's just no interface other than the actual game.
I'm loading Steam. It's still loading.
Yeah, Steam takes a while to load.
Why is Steam so heavy? I don't get it.
They have a new beta. I don't know if the new beta is any lighter. Probably not.
It takes a long-ass time to load. I finally stopped turning it on with, my, just start up with Windows and everything, because I didn't realize how long it was taking.
Yeah.
Turned it off, and now I got, a 30-second reboot now.
Seems like it's checking for updates before it wants to display anything.
It does check for updates every single time, and I only launch it now when I'm actually going to play a game. It's nice to have it on so that, if your friends are on, they can, invite you to a game or something, but I don't even bother anymore.
I have Spellforce 2, actually.
All right, well, Spellforce Platinum Edition is $374, and Spellforce 2 is $750. Yeah, the gold edition is $750.
That's probably got Shadow Wars. Yeah, I have Spellforce, Dragon Storm, and Shadow Wars.
That's what the gold edition is. It's got those two things.
Bob, was that the one you complained about because it was something misrepresented in the about the network play or something? I can't remember. Is that the one you returned?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the one I tried to get my money back, and I did. And I don't remember. If Steam would ever load and I could look at it, it was something like that. It was something like you couldn't play multiplayer online or something. It was really dumb.
It does say, well, now it says single player. It doesn't even say any kind of multiplayer.
It used to say multiplayer, but what happened, it was something dumb where it was one of those things where the game was so old the servers weren't up anymore or something like that, or you needed some weird-ass update from somewhere, and it was not applicable to the version that I had, and I was really upset about it. As a single-player game for $750, I can recommend it. Because it's got a really unique RPG, RTS hybrid feel to it.
Speaking of Steam,
it still won't open.
Ivan, there was the one story you mentioned. Would you like to discuss the Steam possibly on the Macintosh?
Steam for the Mac OS, which is both cool and unfortunate at the same time.
How so?
Well, because Steam on the Mac would be cool, because it would mean that you could have Steam on the Mac. The problem is that there's about 5 games made for the OS X. So Steam is going to be very light.
Yeah, this was a story that came from people looking in the new beta and found weird file names suggesting that there might be a Steam version coming out to the Mac OS X. Not through Boot Camp, but just a pure Mac OS version of Steam.
So, it would be cool if Valve did that, and at the very least developed their games, and that's kind of what the article said, developed their games for the Mac. At the very least, that would be good. If they didn't do that, there's not a whole lot you can buy for the Mac. There's just not a lot of games.
Well, not a lot of mainstream games. Probably some of the indie games could.
Yeah, one of the things, like Reflexive Arcade, I think, has a whole Mac section. Some of the good games are released for both Mac and PC. A lot of the PopCap games have Mac versions. It would be nice to have, like I said, like Steam, where you have a centralized location for stuff. But unless like I said, at the very least, unless Valve ports their games to Mac OS X, or more developers start developing for OS X, you're really just better off using Boot Camp and having Steam on the PC side, which is what I do. I have Boot Camp on my laptop, and the only reason I have Boot Camp on my laptop is so I can play PC games over Steam, like Torchlight and stuff like that.
Yeah, there aren't many Mac games, really. But apart from Warcraft and probably StarCraft.
Right, but then those aren't on Steam anyway, so...
No, those won't even show up. But then again, the Mac gaming community is very small to begin with, so...
It is, but the other thing is that Macs over the past 2 to 3 years have, like, doubled, tripled, quadrupled. Like, last year, they sold some ridiculous amount of Macintoshes based on iPhones and iPod sales, so more and more people are buying Macs, so maybe that will light something up at developers saying, hey, more and more people are using these things. Maybe we should develop games for them as well.
I mean, I remember back in the day, my first gaming PC after a color computer was a Macintosh.
Right.
There were lots of games back then, but not then the PC dominated.
Yeah, I mean, at the time when like the Apple IIe was out, there were tons more games. And lots of games that people remember playing back then, like...
Archon,
Kara.
Oh, I so wanted him to just choke right there. So many games I remember playing. Like,
No, I was choking because I could never pronounce the name correctly. Is it Karateka or Karatika or Castle Wolfenstein, Prince of Persia, all the whatever they were info games, Infocom, all the text-based things like Zork and stuff like that. Those were all Mac-based, and I don't even know if there were PC versions of those.
Yeah, I think there were Commodore versions. There were versions of for all the different PCs. Okay, next. Any other stories before we dive into the contest, Phil? Of that grouping that you sent, anything really catch your eye?
The one thing I found kind of interesting, it's not really video game, but it relates to Skype and something that we all use on a weekly basis. Looks like some of the new Samsung LED models are going to be Skype integrated, so you can do video conferencing and video calls.
The new Samsung LCD TVs are going to have Skype in them.
Correct. So I'm not sure if you need like an external video cam or whatever to run it, or if that's going to be built into, but looks like they're starting to integrate that stuff.
If like the Xbox Live didn't have such a decent voice chat program, you could use that. Like we use Steam's voice client for all of our games, and when the games, even like Borderlands, had voice built in, but we turned it off and just used Steam.
yeah, it's nice having something that's independent of the actual game that you're playing, because something's going to go wrong with the game you're playing.
Yeah.
Speaking of Borderlands, did anybody try that new stuff that just came out?
Nope.
I
did like the little description though. If where'd it go? I just read it.
Yeah, this is the new expansion, which also increases the level cap to 60.
No. That was the funny part. It increased the level cap to 61 because Borderlands goes to 11.
Which one was this? Was this the Underdome thing or the secret?
Secret Armory of General Knox. And it goes, Borderlands goes to 11. You may have seen some games raise their level cap by 5, maybe even 10, but with the Crimson Last assassin squads wreaking havoc and the what the hell is this? Cromorax the Invincible being all invulnerable and stuff, we knew you were going to need more than just 10. That's why Borderlands goes to 11. Secret Army of General Knox has new guns, new class mods, new vehicles, new mission, increases the level cap by 11. And 11 is in all capital letters. Adds new guns, new vehicles, class mods, shields, enemy types, and mission. In other words, best add-on ever. Of all time. Forever. The end.
Does anybody have any interest in buying that anytime soon? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, no, I'm sighing because it's a little late. I mean, with the ADD that people, especially us, have with video games, I think we've pretty much done everything we're going to do with Borderlands, and this has come out late enough that I don't know if even with having 11 more levels to gain, I don't know if I want to go back and play again.
Is it just because you're bored with it, basically? You don't even want to see the new enemies? I think there are new enemies, new enemy types.
Oh, yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a brand new, whole new zone, different.
Yeah, I mean, this is what it would take for me to try it again, all those new things. Like the past 2 expansions, the Zombie Island was fun, but it didn't actually do anything. The Underdome thing, I think, really only gave you like a bank to put stuff in. Didn't really change a whole lot other than have a new area. Having extra levels and more guns and shields and class mods and stuff would be what it would take to try to go back in and try it again. Although, like I said, I don't know if they could do anything to get me to come back and play some more. What it would take would be for 2 to 4 of you guys to say, yeah, I'm going to download it and play it.
That all sounds interesting, but is it dependent on the previous other 2 expansions in order to purchase?
I'm sure it's not, because like I said, the other 2 expansions didn't actually include much of anything, you know? They were just more different levels.
Yeah, they're just different zones you warp to. I mean, they're independent of one another.
Yeah, if I didn't have to buy those other 2 expansions, I'd probably be pretty interested in picking that up.
And not to mention, since there's now 3 expansion type things, it's only a matter of time, a very short amount of time before they release some weekend Steam thing with Borderlands.
Or a Platinum Edition or some nonsense.
Probably a big sale and everything.
Yep.
Okay. So, if there's no other stuff for right now, we can do the contest real quick.
Chad, did you hear anything about that DC Online universe?
At various Comic-Cons, they put out some stories about it. They talk a little bit about the art. I've seen some art from it, some little gameplay, but not much really. I mean, still a year away.
Yeah, I came across it browsing through some new stuff and saw that, and the website really didn't have much about it either.
I don't know what to think of it. I mean, you're not playing Superman, Batman, any of those guys. You're playing your own made-up heroes, and you're fighting alongside them.
Super Batman. That's my made-up hero.
Nice.
He's like Batman and Superman combined, so he's completely unstoppable.
And not a total jerk.
See, that could be very new if it was like you're saying, if you had Superman or Batman or someone was actually leading your mission against other things. I think that'd be different enough to get people interested. Kind of break the mold of MMOs.
But will it be... I mean, won't it just end up being another City of Heroes?
Yeah. How's Champions Online doing? Because I know City of Heroes keeps sending me stuff, but Champions Online stopped.
I don't know. How is anyone doing? I mean, even Warcraft is kind of peaking. They really haven't had a major next announcement of like 12 billion people or whatever.
Yeah, recession will do that.
Yeah, I think even they're just leveling out. So, contest. We got a lot of entries. How do we want to do this?
The first one. Just whatever the first one is.
We can't go to the first one.
First one, whatever.
No, because the first 2 actually sent in the same numbers.
Then the third one.
We're looking for repeating number, correct?
Yeah. Let us go back to this real quick. This is the Diablo 2 contest, courtesy of Kim Vidard from the forums. He had a code for Diablo 2 and the expansion. Bob's fine choice for contest was one integer over another so that it ends up being a repeating decimal.
Yeah. Is that what I said?
Yes.
You call it the wrong thing at the time, but we'll go with it.
Call it a repeating irrational.
Said irrational. Irrational numbers don't repeat, I thought.
You can't represent them with fractions, I don't think. Integers over another. So
I sure thought there was.
no, an irrational number is one you can't represent as an integer over another.
Oh. I thought an irrational number was just you divide it. Hold on a second. This sound is really loud.
I put this in the show. I even mentioned this.
I didn't read it. Now let's go over this again. I was under the impression that the 2 numbers divided by each other, okay, then you have a non-repeating sequence of decimals, whatever, that's an irrational number.
Here, a rational number is any number that can be expressed as m over n, where m and n are integers, and the decimal expansion either terminates after a finite amount of digits or begins to repeat the same digits over and over and over. That's a rational number.
Right.
An irrational number is any real number that is not a rational number, i.e. a number that cannot be expressed as a fraction m over n, where m and n are integers, and the decimal expansion does not terminate or contain repeating digits.
Then what the hell am I describing?
A rational number.
A repeating rational number, probably.
No. I said does not repeat. 2 numbers divided by each other, and the decimal does not repeat.
Oh, so that would be like 1/2.
No.
No, you said the ones that repeated. You wanted repeating.
No, I didn't. I did not want to repeat it.
Yes, you did. I've listened to that episode like 3 times.
Well, I was drunk, so that's not what I f***ing meant.
So basically, none of these entries win.
What I meant, 2 numbers divided by each other that that the decimal expansion does not repeat.
No, you said repeat.
I did not mean to say repeat.
Well, you know what? We got tons of repeating numbers, so we're going to go with those.
Well, I just want you to be aware that I know what an irrational number is, because that's what I wanted, not repeating. That's important. God, this is a lot of weed.
Okay, we have like 15 minutes left to record. We got to go through these. Does somebody want to roll a dice or something?
51. That was totally random. First number popped in my head, 51.
We don't have that many entries.
No, 51 modulo 28. What is that?
It's a 51 minus 28.
Yeah.
And then minus 28 again. 28 times 2 is 56. So wait, you only have to subtract it 1. So 51
Yes.
is it's 11, 3, 23.
23. Entry number 23.
Justin.
1/0.
That's not an irrational fraction.
No, that's not even a real number.
No, that's out. He's out. Give me another number. Or go to a website with random numbers and punch something in. There's a random number site. I know there is. Random.org. Here we go.
Well, there's an entry that's got infinite 69s.
That's non-repeating.
No, repeating. Integer generator. Here we go. I'm going to generate one random integer between 1 and 28. Here we go. Pushing the numbers, hitting it, getting numbers, and boom.
Beep boop bop boop beep.
11. Who is number 11?
Steve.
Steven.
Oh, boy.
Divide that out.
Let's see, 55378008 divided by 8008.
Okay, Bob, he actually has the number you want. It doesn't repeat.
Yay! Then he wins.
Oh, and he's funny, too. Because it's boobless. Get it? 80087355.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, Steven wins.
Wait, what entry was this? I need to look at 11 is what we decided on.
I don't know if that's repeating, though.
It's not repeating. That's
Then he wins because that's what I wanted in the first place.
Well, that's what you wanted, but Chad said repeating. So obviously our listeners didn't understand either, because we got a bunch that are repeating, like 9 or 11 is 0.81818181818181818181, and then we've got some that are non-repeating. Like entry number 3 is pi.
Well, that's not two integers, so that automatically loses. At least that we can be clear on, that I did ask for two integers.
How about this? Steven will win this week, and next week we're going to have a new contest. We have some more codes from Kim Fedard. I'll give you, Bob, a whole week, Ivan or Phil, to think up a contest.
You.
I'm giving you a whole week now. We're going to take a week off of the contest, and we'll do a contest next week.
I don't want to. You don't like my contest because I don't say them right.
I liked your first one. Your second one, I give it a 6 out of 10.
If I would have said it right, it would have been a 9.
Maybe an 8.
9.
No, the primes was a 9.
You just said it was a 10. Am I listening to you? Because I don't really remember what you just said 3 minutes ago.
Exactly, on the mail.
So I went to Sport Mart yesterday to buy a mouth guard, and when I bought it, the lady at the counter was like, "Just so you know, when you open this, you can't return it."
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I was like, I'm comfortable with that. And then I started thinking about it. It's like they didn't tell me that when I bought my groin protector. So I have to say I'm a little bit uncomfortable because it's not like I scrubbed that thing clean before I put it on. I mean, it was in the packaging and everything, but you don't know. They could just have the machine in the back that makes
You don't know.
it look new again.
Or someone at the factory could have rubbed it all over their junk.
Yeah, you don't know what kind of testing procedures they go through, what kind of STDs they have testing them.
It's funny because I was going to say that if you didn't mention the second part, I was going to say, so what's their policy on jock straps?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you just got to some fat zitty motherfucker walking in through the door there, and he's like, "Yeah, I got to return this mouth guard and this groin protector, and just put on store credit because I got some Speedos I need." Because
oh boy.
Just go ahead and restock those. I'm sure they're fine.
Let's do the mailbag. Here we go. Piece of mail. Would anyone like to read it besides me?
You have 2 weeks of not reading mail to make up for.
I'll read it. Which one?
I was going to go with the first one down.
From Tony. Hi, I'm thinking about buying a Super Nintendo and was wondering if you guys could tell me some good...
Because it's 1985.
Thanks, and a ham sandwich to you guys for all the great works and laughs and listening. Keep up the good work. Wow.
Super NES, huh? He wants suggestions for Super NES games to buy.
Really? Anything made by Nintendo or Konami or Activision.
I know we don't condone this practice, but couldn't he demo some of those games somehow online through, emulators?
Yes, we don't condone this practice, but we all do it, like hookers.
We don't condone that, but God knows we all do it.
Because I'd hate to see this guy find some rare game, which is like $200, and buy it
Wow.
and realize it's horrible when he could have just gone online and, demoed it.
What were some of the good ones back in 1989?
Legend of Zelda was good. All the Super Mario Brothers were good.
Super Punch-Out, Super Metroid, right?
Yeah. The tennis was pretty good. I feel like tennis. I would say anything first party.
Yeah, all the Nintendo games were good.
I think that was the problem. Wasn't that the problem with Nintendo? Was like all this first party stuff was really good. And
Well, that's been Nintendo's thorn ever since they came out. Oh, you know what? And I'm thinking NES too, because I said all the games that I mentioned were NES games, by the way. Like Legend of Zelda and Super Mario Brothers. Those were all NES games.
there are Super Mario Brothers games for the Super Nintendo. There is a Zelda for it.
Mortal Kombat, I believe, first came out when the Super Nintendo was out. That was okay. Star Fox was Super Nintendo, wasn't it?
I think so.
Like I said, another Nintendo game. So yeah, pretty much anything by Nintendo you can't go wrong with. First party Nintendo games. I didn't play a whole lot of Super Nintendo.
Okay, next piece of mail from a different Tony this time. From Tony. Hi, I have $200 and I can't decide what to buy. Suggestions? Doesn't necessarily have to be video game related. Thanks.
Hookers.
Oh, yeah, I thought we just covered this.
$200. What can $200 buy besides hookers and blow?
1 tank of gas.
World of Warcraft and a year subscription.
Why don't you take your special lady out to a nice restaurant?
Is he looking for games or?
He said doesn't necessarily have to be video game related. Anything. He has money to spend, money to burn.
Dude, get a dog.
A dog.
I mean, that'll be fun for like 14 years, man.
I think it's going to cost more in the long run, though.
Well, no, just play with it till it starves to death. I mean, it'll be able to feed itself for a few weeks. And they're like, well, that was a lot of fun. It'll get some actual companionship, and you'll get bored in the same amount of time it would for you to get bored of a game anyway. By the time it dies.
Like I said, let's see.
I don't give good suggestions.
No, you do not, and
No, I
you
don't.
are now no longer allowed to give suggestions.
I believe that's fair.
So do this: buy yourself wait for it, with $200 and maybe some $10 to $15 that you can find in the cushions of your seat. You can buy an 8 gig iPod Touch and download all kinds of free games and music. So there you go. Do that. The 8 gig iPod Touch is $199.
It's worth it. You can pretty much take it everywhere, and most places you'll run into probably will have an internet connection.
Okay. Should we do any more mail? You want to call it a night there because it's about 40 minutes in?
I've got 37 minutes of record time.
I think we give enough there for a show.
You sure? That's cutting it awfully close, man. It's only 5 minutes of me you get rid of.
All right, well, here's 3 minutes of review time from me because I downloaded Final Fantasy for my iPhone.
Oh, you paid $9 for that thing?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Seems obvious that Mr. Ivan here plays his iPhone quite a bit more than any other system he has, so I'm pretty much thinking more power to him at this point.
Yeah.
Do it. Tell us of the remake for the iPhone of Final Fantasy 1?
Yes. I think it was they kind of ported the PSP version.
As this is an iPhone and a Final Fantasy game, I'll be playing Neverwinter Nights right now.
Okay. It's good. It's how I remember it without the annoying things. You can buy more than one thing at a time. And if one or more of your guys attacks the same guy, so in the old version, if 2 of your guys attacked a monster and the first guy killed it, the second guy just walked up and punched the air. Now they just kind of default to the next guy on the list, so that's kind of cool. But the storyline and everything is the same. The controls are decent. It's fun.
Is it worth $9 is the ultimate question.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the great debate with iPhone games. Is anything more than like $3 and you're wasting your money? 2 things I can mention there is, one, I've never really, like if Palladino was on the show, he'd say, if it's more than $1, I'm never going to buy it. Well, that's great. It's definitely worth $9. And the other thing is, I have not seen Square Enix games ever drop in price. So even the first games they released are still the same price. So they're not one of those companies that say, We'll release a game, and if the sales aren't great, then we'll lower the price and screw the people that paid full price for it.
But when Final Fantasy came out, they did have a sale on all their games.
They do tend to do that. When they first come out, they're on sale. But like I said, if you don't buy it right when they come out and get that discount, then you really don't have to worry about being screwed in 2 or 3 months.
Right.
So $9, yeah. I mean, I've played Final Fantasy a couple of times on a couple of different systems. $9 is more than any other game I've bought for the iPhone, but it's worth it. I mean, it's huge, dude. It's Final Fantasy. You're going to play this game for 60 hours or whatever ridiculous amount you can play Final Fantasy for.
Not questioning that. I'm sure it's totally worth it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not one of those little 10-minute 2-stick shooter things where you get bored with it after an hour. This is Final Fantasy in the full version. So there you go.
And that puts us at the 40-minute mark. So I think we can end it there. Should I actually mention our mailbag so people can continue to...
Sure. Just don't bother sending us roll call questions.
Yeah, no roll call questions. And if you'd like to send us some hate mail, some threats about unsubscribing, you can send that to mailbag@videogameshow.org.
And you will be disregarded.
Very good. And you can Skype us at Video Game Show or call us at 320-300-GAME. Standard long distance call.
Anybody mind if I throw out there that I'm looking for 2 3-day PAX passes?
Go right ahead.
All right. If anyone by chance pre-ordered 3-day PAX East 3-day badges, please send me a PM through Gamercast Network and let me know, and I could try to make some arrangements to reimburse you and get those delivered, because I'm looking forward to going. Jill and I would like to go. And they did that whole thing where they did the pre-order and they didn't actually stop the pre-order and they kept selling, and I stopped looking because I thought I'd have to look at the door and whatever. They lied.
Okay, very good. And I think that's it. We can say goodbye.
1, 2, 3, stop.
Well, no, say goodbye to the people. and now we can say goodbye. And now,
Bye.
1, 2, 3.
Bye. Stop. Bye.
Bye.
Stop.
Stop by.
Stop by. Okay.
Yeah.
And stopping. Bye.